Michigan Out of Doors Online is brought to you in part by...
For over 30 years, Vanguard Outdoors has made the gear that turns a regular hunt into another fine day of field. We know that a good shooting stick or a nice pair of binoculars can make or break your day. Our design teams include serious hunters who work hard to bring you the best sporting optics, shooting sticks, tripods, bags, and more. We are Vanguard Outdoors.
Hey everyone, welcome to Michigan Out of Doors. Thank you so much for joining us this week. We have a really cool kind of a retro show this week. We were just recently looking at some old footage, some really old footage. In fact, most of this week's show is coming to you from 21 years ago. I was a little smaller and a little less gray back then, but we're gonna have our former co-host on the show, Claudia Hitchcock, is gonna be on this week's show, doing a little walleye fishing on the Detroit River. You won't want to miss that. We've got some shotgun shooting skills as well as some Lake Michigan fishing, all retro show from 21 years ago. You won't want to miss this week's show. Make sure you stay tuned. I'm Jimmy Gretzinger, and it's time for Michigan Out of Doors.
From the first spring rains to the soft summer breeze, dancing on the pine forest floor, the autumn colors catch your eyes. Here come the crystal winter skies. It's Michigan out of doors.
What a beautiful day in the woods.
Someday our children all will see this is their finest legacy. The wonder and the love of Michigan as the wind comes whispering through the trees. The sweet smell of nature's in the air. From the Great Lakes to the quiet stream, shining like a sportsman's dream. It's a love of Michigan we all share.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Country Smokehouse, a sportsman's meat processor and Michigan destination since 1988. Offers a variety of homemade smoked meats and Michigan-made products in-store and online. The Country Smokehouse features an outdoor barbecue and bar. Details at countrysmokehouse.com.
The Michigan Charter Boat Association has provided education of the Great Lakes fishery for over 52 years. Information about Great Lakes fishing opportunities as well as captain advocacy can be found at michigancharterboats.com. By Network Outdoors, connecting members to share experiences, help grow businesses, and to give back to the outdoor community. Learn more at one of 10 monthly meetups or online at networkoutdoors.com.
Welcome to Michigan Out of Doors. Well, we're down here on the Detroit River with a Michigan Out of Doors veteran. Claudia Hitchcock is back this week. Claudia, has it been a while since you've had a rod in your hand?
It's been a long time, but I'm having a great time here on the Detroit River trying to catch some spring fish, looking for those walleyes.
That's right. We're going to have that story for you. We're also going to have some other spring fishing and some shotgun shooting skills for you as well. We got a great show lined up for you. I'm Jimmy Gretzinger.
And I'm Claudia Hitchcock. Stay tuned. It's time for Michigan Out of Doors.
Last week found me backing down the Wyandotte boat ramp. This ramp is a great spot to put in and try your hand at fishing the Detroit River. Lance Valentine would be showing us the ins and outs of the river today. Lance is a tournament walleye angler and works at Freeway Sports in Fenton. What made today a little different and a little special was who we would have on the boat. Former co-host of Michigan Out of Doors and good friend, Claudia Hitchcock.
Hi, nice to see you.
Good afternoon.
Come on in.
Thank you.
How you doing, sir? Good, Jimmy. How you been?
Good.
Get you out of the woods.
Yeah.
Get you out fishing for a change.
Claudia worked here for a little over 5 years, and the last time you saw her was opposite then-host James Ford. It was great to have Claudia back in Michigan. She now works in Hollywood and, as you may expect, does not get the chance to hit the woods or the water like she did here in Michigan.
All right, Lance, what's the plan?
Well, the plan is we're fishing a fairly heavy current in Detroit River, so we're going to be vertical jigging.
Okay.
With a half-ounce jig head, and the water's fairly warm. It's about 52, 53 degrees, so no bait, just what they call a brown worm. This happens to be a Berkeley power bait, power jig worm. Okay. Brown seems to be the color. Brown, purple, black, the darker colors. If you feel anything that feels weird, doesn't feel like it should, set the hook.
Okay.
I'd rather have you set the hook in a snag and have to get you on snag than have you have a fish and not set the hook on it.
I know it's been a few years since you've had a pole in your head.
It's been a long time, so give me some time to warm up.
We'll get you.
Even though she hadn't been on the water in a while, Claudia didn't miss a beat. It wasn't very long at all, and we started to find the fish. Lance was first to tie into one. This ended up being a smallmouth bass, not what we were targeting, but a fun fish to catch. Now, in vertical jigging, you can catch a variety of fish. Just jigging this simple presentation off the bottom to about 6 inches to a foot from the bottom can be a deadly technique for many of the fish that swim these waters. It does take some skill to keep the line vertical and not on an angle. This is done by proper use of your trolling motor. But when done correctly, it can be a fun way to fish and an effective one.
You know, we're not doing anything fancy with real bright colors, so something that looks natural right on the bottom of the river. It's a perfect spot to catch everything. And as the summer goes on, as the spring turns into summer like it is now, we're at 52, 54 degrees on Detroit River, the walleyes head out and get a lot more smallmouth. This is really... Oh, Claudia's got one.
You gonna throw that one back?
Yeah, Claudia's got one. We got it, Claudia.
Come on, guy. Settle down. Bite me here.
Look at her grab her arm, just like she knows what she's doing.
All right.
You've been on TV before too, haven't you, girl?
All right. I'm not jinxed. I got a fish.
Not wanting to be outdone, Claudia quickly followed suit and looked like an old pro, bringing in her first fish in quite a while.
There you go. Look at that.
Nice job.
I'll take it. Thanks. Now go tell the walleye to come here. Got it? Yep. All right. See you later. There you go. All right.
Yeah, right back into it.
One ahead of Jimmy.
Well, I tell you
Get
what,
going.
I can't let the city Hollywood girl off.
The LA girl beat you. You better get to work.
Well, I'm on the wrong side of the boat.
Oh,
here.
that's it. Excuses already.
I wanted to give you the good spot.
Let's switch.
It seemed just like old times having Claudia back on the boat. When Claudia first started here with the show, Bob Garner was the host, and the show had only been back on the air just about a year or so. The early days were a bit nerve-wracking for this young college grad. We asked Claudia about those early years and how she got started with the show.
Well, I started in the winter of 1994. Seems like so long ago. And I actually just got out of school, out of Central Michigan University, and heard about an opening here. And started on the show, and I was very nervous because all we were doing that winter was ice fishing.
Introduce to you our newest co-host, associate producer, Claudia Hitchcock. Now, Claudia comes to us from Sterling Heights, Macomb County.
And it was cold, and we didn't catch a lot of fish. We did a little rabbit hunting, but I was a little nervous because I thought, oh my gosh, how am I going to handle this?
Now, you hadn't really done much outdoor stuff when you started with the show. I mean, that was kind of part of the deal. So what was it like coming in, not having much of a background in that, and going out with all these, you know, guys and girls that were pros at this? What was that like?
Well, that was part of it. When I started, they said, well, you'll be the novice. We're going to follow you and, you know, show that anyone can get involved in the outdoors. And they said, you know, are you up to the task? And I said, sure. I said, I'm not shy. I'm up for anything. I'll try anything once.
Is there any stories, any shoots that really stick out that you remember now that were just, you know, what were some of your favorite stories that you did while you were here?
Oh, geez. We just did so many. Oh, gosh, let me think.
And then they start to kind of blend together, but is there any that kind of stick out?
I would say turkey hunting was always the best. And we went up to Central Michigan to John McClintock's place. And he was gracious enough to let me hunt on there. It's the first time I had gone turkey hunting. And we had just 4 days of awful weather and nothing in sight. And we were about to give up and head back to the office. And we said, listen, I said, let me sit out here by myself just once. Leave me for a couple hours, see what happens one morning. And the sun came out that morning and squirrels were running everywhere. And all of a sudden I heard these turkeys come up, and I shot one of them, and it was just amazing to me. I was all by myself, and that morning was just great because I thought, I can really do this. And I just had such a wonderful time, and I went back to the cabin, and Bob and John were just having some lunch, and they said, so did you see anything? Because they didn't hear the shot. And I said, yep, I sure did, and it's outside. And we all ran outside. He couldn't believe it.
It is fun to hear some behind-the-scenes stories from the old days, and just like the old days, Claudia was right back into the swing of things with our first walleye of the day on the line. By her own admission, Claudia had not done much in the out-of-doors before starting with Michigan Out of Doors. But after spending 5 years with some of the best in the business, she can talk hunting and fishing with anyone. There are so many great parts about working with MUCC and Michigan Out of Doors. I asked Claudia if she had to pick one thing she missed the most or the best part of her job, what it would be.
I would say that I have to say that working with, we've met so many incredible people. You go around the state, everybody is so friendly and so gracious and just, come on, let's go fishing, or come on, you know, you're welcome to come to my house or my cabin and stay here as long as you want and just enjoy yourself. So I have to say the people. I live in LA now, which is just a big, crazy city, and I don't meet half the people that, you know, that are just like Michigan people. So I miss that the most. Just, you know, somebody calling up and saying, hey, the fishing's hot right behind my house here, come on up, and, you know, packing up the camera and getting up there the next day and enjoying ourselves. So I'd have to say the people.
No doubt many of us who have had the privilege to work on this show or any outdoor show in Michigan would have to say the people and places of this great state are second to none. Take today, for example. Lance Valentine, who had never met Claudia before, was nice enough to take a day off of work, meet with us with only a few days' notice, and take us fishing. Lance was lucky enough to tie into a nice walleye toward the end of the day. And just to prove what a good captain he is, he also got me over top a hungry walleye as well.
Hey! Good job.
Wow, nice one.
I told you, he caught that. He's been silent all day, and he finally comes through with a good walleye for us.
Nice fish.
Jimmy.
Hooked right in the mouth. You don't want to get cut with the teeth. Here, look at that. Right in the...
Right where it belongs, right in the top.
Right in the kisser.
I'm snagged way back here.
Oh, that is a nice Detroit River walleye.
Especially this time of year.
All right.
That's,
Nice fish.
Not a great fish in April, but second week of May, that's perfect.
Nice fish.
Perfect.
What did Bob used to say? These are all fillet from the head to the tail. Yeah, that is a pretty fish.
Good job, buddy.
This was the biggest fish of the day, and it, like all the walleye, were going into the live well for dinner. It was about this time that Jenny had had enough and dropped a line in the water to try her luck as well, and swapped some stories with Claudia about the job they both have shared. The Detroit River treated us pretty well today, and I had Lance talk a little bit about the boat we were on and how you can have a chance to talk with him about this very fishery.
The boat we're in is actually a fairly new design, maybe a company called Polarcraft. And what they've done is they've got into the serious fishing market in the last couple of years. And this is their 178, a large 17-footer with a wide beam. We got a lot of room in here. We fish 4 people in it all day. And we've got a new boat coming out later this fall, probably be available at your dealers next spring. It's a boat that I had a little hand in helping design. It's going to be called a 198 Walleye. It's going to be a large 19-footer, almost a 20-foot long, wide beam tournament walleye boat. I got hooked up with these folks through Freeway Sports Center in Fenton. I'm there every day working, so what we're doing down there is if people want to come in and talk about fishing on the Detroit River or want to come in and talk about lure selection for Lake Erie and those things, they can get a hold of me either at the store or if they want to, they can get through the website at freeway-sports.com. They can get right into my section of the website, send me an email, and we can answer any questions they have about fishing.
Lance is a very good fisherman, and if you want to pick his brain, just give him a call or drop him a line. Today we had found some fish, and we had a great time. We didn't slam today, but like most trips, the people you're with usually make or break the day, and today was a day to remember. Claudia Hitchcock was a crucial player in getting and keeping Michigan Out of Doors a quality show. From her early days of uncertainty to her polished professionalism, Claudia made the show better and better. Thanks for doing what you did to help those of us here today have a chance to get out and tell the stories of this great state right here
In Michigan's Out of Doors.
A few weeks back at Charlie Mann's Hunters Creek Club in Metamora, Michigan, we were able to get a shooting lesson from one of the best instructors there are worldwide when it comes to shotgun shooting skills, and that's Mr. Jack Mitchell, who takes you through some very simple steps on how to become a better shooter.
Jack, now when you first see a student, what are you looking for, and what are you trying to see in that student? What are you trying to look for, and what do you want them to look like at the end of a lesson?
Well, there's a lot of questions there all in one. What I would do is look for the first thing, the individual, see how big he was, then I would ask what gun he was going to use.
Okay.
I would think if he's with a tall man, he would need a long stock. If he was a short man, he need a short one. And very often you'll see big, tall Americans just using guns that come straight out of the box. And they never think anything about a stock length. They simply adapt to that gun. But what we're looking for basically in this sort of thing is to be as perfect as we can get. So I'm a little bit fussy about stock length and so on like that. So that's one thing I would ask. And the reason, to finish the end of that little question you said, what am I looking in the student? By the end of the lesson, I want that student to make the moves that he would do if he didn't have a gun. In other words, I think we're most efficient when we do things that come naturally to us. And any natural moves involving just pointing at something or other, our head would never move, our legs would never move very much, then we would be balanced and we would be equal. We wouldn't have to twist our head around, we wouldn't have to do anything other than what we do naturally. So he's standing there now, he's pointing. If he can think that that long black finger there, which is a gun barrel, is an extension of himself, and he is pointing at the track where he thinks that target is going to develop.
Okay.
His first move will be he's going to step towards it with a little tiny step, which puts his weight on his left leg, and then his left arm will follow his leg, and he starts to point. And he'll bring the gun back, and he'll keep his head dead still. And when it touches his cheek there like that, without the head moving, the gun will shoot exactly where he's looking. So the foot moves, then the left arm, and then the right arm.
So the left arm should be the first move with your...
Absolutely. It's the left arm that is controlling the gun. All that this one does is to lift the stock very gently, touch the trigger, and so on. Now then, if you watch, and I will show you something, that left hand of ours is accurate. So in other words, when we're looking and pointing, we're pretty close to where we're looking at. If this one doesn't influence anything, the muzzle will always stay on that line. But if this one comes up too quick, see what happens to the muzzle.
Okay.
Whoops, and down she goes. So now you've got to go and find that line again. So this is why we'd say, okay, drink something with that right hand, so the right hand is traveling so smooth that if you had a cup of something, you would lift it up and it wouldn't spill a drop.
All of us learned a lot from Jack as we practiced his simple technique, and I think what was amazing for all of us was to see just in the short time we were there how much it impacted our shooting and how much better we all became.
Well, if you're going to shoot really well, okay, we react to what the bird tells us, right? We learn to read what the bird tells us. Give me a gun a second. If I were to say to you, now, Jenny, just go and point your left hand at that target. You go, Paul, and point your finger at that target. Paul, now see that finger went as smooth as cover could be. People put guns in their hands, everything happens quickly. All we have to do is the same moves with a gun as we would do without it.
Okay.
See if we can do it.
Paul. I did what you said and it worked.
Isn't it funny?
Yeah. It's amazing.
Not really. No, not really. It's fairly simple.
Well, I think they're both right. This is an amazing and very simple technique. Just to slowly step towards your target, deliberately raise your gun as an extension of your body and keep your eyes on the target. We had a great time learning from Jack as he slowly worked through each of our shooting forms. Thanks so much to Hunters Creek and to Jack for making this day possible. and hopefully this will make us all and you all better shooters come this fall.
You know, big lake fishing is really hot right now. I had a chance last week to head out to Lake Michigan. First-class charters out of Manistee extended an invitation for me to participate on their women's team for the 7th annual Ladies Fishing Classic. Last Friday, I hopped aboard the first-class charters boat to take part in the Ladies Classic Fishing Tournament put on by the Manistee County Sport Fishing Association. Our women's team consisted of Pam Hamilton, co-owner of First Class Charters, Debbie Kelly, an avid angler from Williamston, and myself. Also joining us were Captain Steve Hamilton, friends Greg Cromp and Dennis Bunker, and Debbie's husband Mike. 50 teams took part in the event, and at the sound of the shotgun at 6 o'clock sharp, we all sped off to deeper water to find the fish. Now in this women's event, certain rules apply. The guys can navigate us to the hot spots and help set the lines, but when a fish is on, we ladies must set the hook, reel it in, and net the fish with absolutely no help from the men. I asked Pam how she got started in the charter business.
Steve and I have been chartering since 1985, and we had always fished together and ended up taking out a lot of our friends and acquaintances, and we started enjoying watching them catch fish more than catching them ourselves. So Steve decided to get his captain license, and in '85 we started chartering our boat. We try to gear our boat for the families. We take a lot of kids, a lot of people, couples, family groups. We also take out a lot of big business groups, that type of thing.
Well, the guys had done their job and put us on a fish right out of the gate. Pam grabbed the rod and reeled in the first fish of the day.
I'm like, where? I didn't see that one. Heck, very nutty anymore.
All right, ready?
Oh, we got a nice
okay,
trout.
all right. Keep reeling. Now back right up, Pam. Get him. Ah,
Yeah,
got your wish.
Big one, too, Pam.
Now, Debbie's first netting attempt didn't go so well, but she definitely got the hang of it, and as the day went on, she became our #1 netter.
Get in there.
Oh, here we go, got him.
Yeah, we got him.
Good job. Thanks, Debbie. Wow, good job. Oh, nice one. Thank you. Wow, how far down was he? I'm not going to kill
We caught this one down deep off a downrigger, but we also had quite a bit of luck in a little shallower water with a planer board, as Steve explains.
Okay, these are the inline planer board, birds we call them. They clip right onto your fishing line. They pull the line out away from the boat, and work real good at this time of year for the steelhead, lake trout. Everything gets up high. We run up to 6 of these on each side of the boat at certain times. You know, of course, today we're limited the number of lines we can run, so we're only running a few. But they do a real good job of getting the lines out away from the boat. You know, the boat kind of pushes the fish off to the side, and they just get the lines where the fish are.
Since I was part of the team that day, too, it was my turn to put down the camera and pick up a rod. But we were able to get this catch on tape anyway, thanks to Greg, who was sitting up on the fly bridge and took over the camera for a moment. We were catching a variety of fish: steelhead, lakers, kings, and even my favorite, this wonderful brown trout.
Got him?
Yeah, we got him.
Woo! Good job! All right. Oh, what a nice brown trout. Look how big that is.
You got the grand slam there today. We got one of everything.
We got one of everything.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
This is beautiful fish. Good job. Beautiful indeed. I caught up with Steve and asked him to give me the lowdown on which spoons were working best for us.
This is a Dreamweaver, made down in Ludington. This is a new one. It's a fish lander made up in Traverse City. The Pro King here, and that's made here in Michigan someplace. I don't know exactly where. New Buffalo, I believe. And the Silver Streak, made in Detroit. And the Stinger here. Well, yeah, this is the Stinger here, made in Michigan too. Mostly all Michigan stuff, all real good.
According to the rules of the competition, we had to be back inside the pierheads of Manistee Harbor by 2 p.m., so we headed back in with enough time to weigh all the fish and pick our tournament entries. The limit for tournament weigh-in was 5 fish, and we had voted 10 today, so we picked the 5 biggest fish and got in line to find out how our catch measured up to the competition. As you can imagine, in a place like this, plenty of fish stories were circulating, but they weren't all stories about the one that got away. I saw one king salmon that tipped the scales at 27 pounds. and it seemed like every team had a respectable catch to weigh in. It would definitely be a close competition. After all was said and done, the winning team had a whopping total of 71 pounds worth of fish, but I'd say every team was a success in this 7th annual Ladies Classic. And I'd like to send a special thanks to Steve and Pam Hamilton for showing me a first-class day on Lake Michigan.
Well, hey everyone, thank you so much for watching Michigan Out of Doors this week in our kind of special retro show. It is very fun to look back, and it's very fun to look forward. We have a lot of brand new stuff coming over the next several weeks, and so if we don't see you in the woods or on the water, hopefully we'll see you right back here next week on your PBS station.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by.
Do you dream of somewhere bigger than your backyard? You can get there with Greenstone. Whether you want to hunt, fish, hike, or just watch the sunset, we're ready to help you own your place in the great outdoors. To learn more, visit greenstonefcs.com.
By Network Outdoors, connecting members to share experiences, help grow businesses, and to give back to the outdoor community. Learn more at one of 10 monthly meetups or online at networkoutdoors.com. Mid-Michigan Ponds has been building and maintaining ponds and lakes throughout Michigan for nearly 25 years. We combine biology and heavy equipment to make pondscapes that are sustainable and fishable. More information at midmichiganponds.com. Closed captioning brought to you by Double E Ranch Foundation, a nonprofit 501c3 foundation working to make hunting and fishing accessible for those with disabilities.
When I wander far away, a dream stays with me night and day. It's the road that leads to my home state. I am a Michigan man. Changing seasons paint the scene like rainbow trout in a hidden stream. The white-tailed deer in the tall pine trees. I am a Michigan man. I am a Michigan man. Ask where I'm from and I'll show you my hands. Lord above, I love this land. I am a Michigan man. From the Keweenaw down to St. Joe, Kalamazoo, East to Monroe, to St. Marie and back again. I am a Michigan man. I am a Michigan man. Ask where I'm from and I'll show you my hands. Lord above, I love this land.